Despite Newcastle United's notoriously tight purse strings under Michael James Wallace-Ashley, yes, that is his real name, the Bank of Toon has paid out handsomely in the past. Freddie Shepherd twice broke the British transfer record with very different results. And for all the criticism thrown his way, even Ashley himself has flashed the cash in pursuit of surviving in the Premier League. Again, that didn't always work out well either. I'm Ross from NUFC Fans, and these are the 10 most expensive Newcastle United signings ever. Number 10, over Femi Martins, who cost us £10.14 million. Signing from Inter Milan under a cloud of suspicion about his real age, the Nigerian scored a respectable 35 goals over 3 years for the Magpies as they forward flipped out of the Premier League. Lumbered with the task of filling Alan Shearer's number 9 shirt, played out wide under Kevin Keegan before seemingly not giving a toss under Alan Shearer, Ober's time on Tideside was as topsy-turvy as his celebrations. Number 9, Fabricio Coloccini, who set us back £10.3 million. His commitment might have been as heavily questioned at the end of his Newcastle career as his defensive ability, but Coloccini was a bargain. Eventually. It took relegation to the Championship first time round to prove that, but he became enough of a favourite for enthusiastic Toon fans to offer him sexual favours from their wives. And I tell you what, that's a canny endorsement indeed. Nevertheless, Colo stuck with the club through thick and thin, although he probably did outstay his welcome towards the end. Number 8, Matt Ritchie, who cost £12 million. The joint most expensive Scotsman of all time brings championship experience and a reputation packed full of goals and even more assists. He's a set-piece specialist and apparently turned down Premier League offers to join Rafa's Revolution. That alone makes him a favourite of mine from the get-go. Number 7, Andros Townsend, who set us back £12 million. Signed as part of Steve McLaren's too little too late attempts to stave off relegation, Spurs reject Townsend almost dragged the team to safety. Let's be honest now, £12 million looked like being far too much money for what we all thought was a one-trick pony. You know, he cuts inside and he shoots from 30 yards, he cuts inside and he shoots from 30 yards. And oh yes, we thought he could only cut inside and shoot from 30 yards. But by the time the winger left the club 6 months later, he more than earned enough fans for his departure to Crystal Palace to hurt. Number 6, Jonjo Shelvey, who cost £12 million. I mean, we do like paying £12 million for players, don't we? Jonjo was another panic signing in Steve McLaren's winter of discontent. The notoriously huffy former Swansea man spoiled us with that debut performance against West Ham. That diagonal to Daryl Janmaat, man. Absolutely ridiculous. But that was it. As a severe loss in form and demotion from the first team saw Jonjo's season peter out into nothingness. There's obviously a joke to be made about magic on the pitch and Shelvey's appearance being close to that of Voldemort. But I'll leave that one to you lot, alright? Number 5, Florian Thauvin, who cost us £13 million. Having got rid of one brilliantly talented Frenchman in Hatton Ben Arfa, Newcastle spent 2 seasons and way too much money trying to replace him with fancy down imposters from the French league. Remy Cabella was soft as shit, and then we got Florian Thauvin, who was... he wasn't very good either. Despite a great debut against the Giants of Northampton Town in the League Cup, Blow ended up being another piece of evidence of how wrong Alan Pardew was about Ben Arfa. Oh, we miss you, Ben Arfa, we really do. Number 4, Alexander Mitrovic, who set us back £13 million. A fiery striker whose temperament is probably best described as Stone Raj. Mitrovic signed for United with the tag of Wonder Kid attached to his massive Serbian head. On early assessment, he seemed to love red cards with a penchant for stamping on opponents and glaring at referees. But there's definitely a diamond in amongst all that rough, and a season in the second tier should serve him well. Number 3, we've got Georginio Wijnaldum, who cost £14.7 million. A cracking player at St James's Park, an absolutely awful player away from St James's Park. Did Genie Wijnaldum have a twin that would take his spot on the away buses for Newcastle? It bloody looks like he did. 11 goals in his debut Premier League season was canny enough from the Dutchman, although you can't help but think if he turned up for even just a couple of those away games, he might have been able to save us from relegation. Number 2, we've got God himself, your hero and mine, Mr. Alan Shearer, who cost a world record £15 million. What can I say about your hero and mine, 206 goal God himself, Alan Shearer? And while he won absolutely nothing in black and white, the romance of his story is the most Newcastle story ever told. He's a boy who lived his dream, and Alan, we love you for that. And finally, we have number 1. Why did we ever pay this much money for him? Mr. Michael Owen, who cost £16 million. It might seem a bit cruel to use the word waster for one of England's greatest modern strikers, but thanks to some choice criticisms after leaving Newcastle, Michael Owen certainly deserves that label. Signed with much fanfare by Graham Souness to deflect how awful of a manager he was, Owen promptly built up an injury record Marcelino would have been embarrassed of, and by the end he was basically a passenger in a side that imploded. He just didn't care, did he, towards the end? Thank you for that, Michael. Just keep that money warm in your back pocket, Bonnie lad, you bloody waster. Anyway, did we miss any out? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I've been Ross from NUFC Fans, and I'll see you soon.